my favourite Austrian city. Returning from my third visit and having seen the UNESCO-listed highlights and top attractions before, such as Eggenberg Palace, the Murenstill and Styrian Armoury, I wanted some more in-depth tips about Graz and surrounding Styria. And where better to start than with Philip, the 5th generation general manager of my accommodation, the family-run Parkhotel.
You have to go to the highest place, which is the Schlossberg and Uhrturm, to get a view over the city, and which is for sure for Graz. It's very the historical center is very interesting. But in my opinion, which is very very nice, are the courtyards. So there are some hidden places. You have to be don't be scared to go inside the houses and some courtyards, because basically, which is interesting in Graz, you have to go back a little bit in time. The Second World War, we didn't get the bomb that much, which was luck, basically just luck. So we have a lot of different styles of buildings, from Renaissance to really, as far as the architecture is concerned, it's really nice because you have these really different houses and sizes of the houses. You have a lot of very interesting small cafes, a little bit also outside of the historical city center. It's very green in a way that we have a lot of parks. Our hotel is the Parkhotel, so we're close to the main park and some small parks. So there's so much to see. That's why it's such a beautiful place to live in for me, because it's also the countryside outside. Within 1 hour or 45 minutes drive by car, you have in the south, which is very known, is the Südsteiermark, which is basically the Tuscany of Styria. That's how we call it, because it's full of wine and wineries, and it's very famous in Austria and outside of Austria. So we have really good wine, really good guest houses over there. So you have to go there. That's a must if you go to Graz, and you can spend at least 1 day over there, seeing beautiful places. It's real, the hills and everything. It's just amazing. And in the west of Graz is Salzburg, which is known for the Lipizzaner. That's the home of the famous Lipizzaner horses. Basically, that's the where they have the breeding of the horses. They're known in the Spanische Hofreitschule in Vienna. That's where you can see them, but the young ones and the breeding happens in Styria.
Graz's public transport is excellent. There's even 3 electric trams in the historic centre, but it's also an amazing city to cycle in. Jonathan, founder of the city's first bike delivery service, had plenty of tips for me.
I'm Jonathan, I'm 35 years old, and 8 years ago I started Velofood. We have an app and a website, and the idea is to deliver food as sustainable as possible for more than 130 restaurants, and we also deliver grocery from our market. I really like to go around with the bicycle. Like, also the area around Graz is really nice. Like, we have a lot of the hills. We have also the hill in the middle of the city where you can also go up with the bicycle. It's a bit steep, but very nice. The district of Lent, in my opinion, is very nice. A lot of the small shops, a lot of the small coffees, good food, nice people. I would recommend where I went yesterday is in the south of Graz to the Buschenschank Bockmoor. You ride for around 1.5 hours. You come by a nice lake, the Badesee Wildon, and then it goes steep up to the Buschenschank, which is in the hills, and it's just a very nice place.
But if you prefer your cycling caffeinated and with company, swing by Eva's to join a community coffee ride.
Cool to cycle here because you're out of the city in some minutes from everywhere. Go south, you can go to Slovenia, or you can go to Slovenia and back with the train with the bike. It's to go south or north because there's not much of elevation. If you go west or east, it's hilly, or even mountains, let's say. Sommeralm. It's really nice, it's quiet there. The cows are just everywhere, so everywhere. Also on the streets, it's closed, and it's beautiful there.
Graz has plenty of cute wine bars tucked away in courtyards and amazing wineries in the Styrian countryside. But now, it also has its own urban vineyard again at Falterego, thanks to Hans and Gabrielle.
It really shows us that they produce
Really a long time ago wine here, and it's also a sign for me. Of course, it was maybe owned by the church or by some big families, but they knows why they produce wine on which places.
Welcome. It's open 7 days a week, and that's a big difference to, let's say, Burgundy or even in wine regions in Austria, where it's difficult in September or October find a restaurant for 10 people. We have 5 universities. We have an opera house. We have theater. We have a vibrant. We are city of design. We are Genusshauptstadt of Austria.
Of course, Austria is renowned for its culture, including its classical performances, and Styria Art, the city's musical festival, has been going for over half a century, but now it's starting to reinvent itself with new bicycling alfresco concerts.
With the cycle concerts, we can show a big part of the city in one concert, and we have 5 positions, and we go by bicycle from position to position, and an audience also has a joy to go together with 80 bicycles through the streets, and to be the king of the traffic.
Graz has plenty of beautiful buildings and grand architecture to discover on a walking tour, but recently, when I took a visit with local guide Helen, who moved to the city to make it her home, I wanted to know what were her favourite secret places.
On the border of Styria and Carinthia, this is a real reconstructed, beam by beam, board by board, completely reconstructed. And it was a farmer's new wife. And she said, I'm not getting married to you unless we get a modern home. In 1914, the beginning of the First World War, February 1914, just before the First World War, I would bring all these parts back to Graz, and people thought, this is crazy, what are they doing? Burnt bits of wood, bringing them on sleds over to Graz. And the really difficult part to reconstruct was this open half here. That's quite a difficult task. It at 60 kilometres an hour, so you're going over the river and you're getting the spray of the river, then you're going up the double spiral stairs and flying over the roofs and in and out. You're a fly and you're seeing Graz from a fly's perspective in the summertime. And this is in the mountain, just if you go to the top to the clock tower, and it's just below there.
I could spend all day telling you all my favourite places in and around Graz, but you'll find that on my website. However, I want to leave you with one final offbeat tip, the St Andrew Church. And you might be thinking, I've been to 100 churches in Europe, but trust me, this one is different. It's completely community driven, it's in a slightly more offbeat district of the city, and you'll get to see the incredible street art which has taken over the inside.